Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1144, A Time for Warriors. I am Akainu Fanboy, the other guy is Geboss. Please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave a comment below, give your thoughts on the chapter and our review. And so we have a continuation of the Yamato cover story. I hate it. I want it to end. Please show us something else. We've got enough of one already. Those are my thoughts. What about you?
I literally forgot that they were looking for Minatomo, the carpenter. I had to look up that's where it was going because this is literally volume 29. This is the 29th part of the cover story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like... I don't remember too much about it, but yeah, let's get to the actual good part of the chapters.
So true. Yeah, so okay, so looking at this now, we get another. It's like Frankie's just unlocking the lore piece, like what's this, so we get to see more technology being present here on Elbaf, and we see Lillith and Bonney. They've joined back up with them, which is kind of an interesting thought because I don't think the Gods Knights know that Lillith and Bonney are on the island. I think they only know about the Straw Hats at this point in time.
Well, maybe they do because I assume that they know that the Straw Hats are on here, and Lillith and Bonney escaped. But maybe they don't know about Lillith, but I think they know that Bonney escaped with the Straw Hats. But
so yeah. And I think that would obviously be a high value target. They'll probably become like the most high value targets on this island when all is said and done.
Yeah.
So we'll see kind of if that develops there. But what were your thoughts on this kind of initial section?
So I thought that this is interesting. Like you said, like Frankie's the one that's seeing all the history of Elbaf, like going around with Ripley. But I was thinking, man, like Robin could glean a lot more from this than Frankie could. But yeah, I do think it's interesting. Like it looks like this like fossilized robot thing, but it also has like houses, and it looks like a structure too, with like building windows and everything with it. And then Lillith says that it's been here for at least like 3,000 years, which is if we go by like the mural, the infamous mural, I would think maybe this is like the first world era, because if they divide them into like, if each world is approximately like 1,000 years, maybe this dates all the way back to that.
Right.
But yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's about right there with the mural section right there. Yeah, because Lilith says this has been here for about 3 millennia, so definitely going back into that, pre-Void Century era. So, I mean, it is something that you kind of catches you off guard a little bit, but it makes sense. It makes sense in the sense that we saw Emmett previously, right? Who was a robot too, which was very giant size also. Yeah. So Emmett could have had a link here as well, Yeah. But one thing I do. Oh, sorry, go.
I was just gonna say I did like the gag that like Lillith and Bonney just got lost, and that's how they ended up here. Rather than like, oh, it's this big scientific thing, so they were drawn to it. No, they just got lost. Yeah.
And it's funny to see how Bonnie's just like acting like a little girl, like getting scared of this monster and everything. And one thing I'm kind of thinking about is like, is this similar? Well, actually, even Big Mom with the homies, it wasn't 100% clear that if the homies saw something, it would register to Big Mom about that knowledge. So I'm wondering if these like manifestations would send it back info to the Gods Knights right here.
Yeah, like if they can see through them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. Because I know that they control them.
Yeah, because then that would set up the connection of like, oh, it sees Bonney and Lillith. So I'm not sure. I think it's kind of an interesting thought right there, because and then we see all the other giants like struggle right here with all the other monsters that are coming in, and then they make the reference how the Chiefs aren't really up for battle right now because they're too drunk.
Yeah.
So good job, Usopp. And then and I thought it was kind of like the cool little cute section where we have one of the giant children and Nami. I was like, oh, it's so adorable. So we're probably going to see a Nami scene pretty soon, popping off against these God Knights for all the, terrible things we're doing to these kids and everything.
Yeah, I like Colin and his incorporation into this, because we've talked about before that the Elbaf children are kind of being taught like peaceful stuff and everything, and he seems to be the only one that's kind of embodying that warrior spirit amongst all of them.
Right. Yeah, so that was cool to see. And then I thought this was kind of interesting when we got into the the God Knights here, where
before we go into that, I just wanted to say, speaking of also God's Knights, like Jarl learns from the guards from the castle that there was an intruder who looks like Shanks, who looks like red hair. So they're making the distinction that it's not Shanks. And I know that we kind of theorized before that maybe there was going to be a mix-up there, like Shanks blamed for this or something, but they seem to be making like, no, this isn't Shanks, it's someone besides him. So
right, correct.
And Usopp's already kind of formulating like, oh, what are they gonna demand from Elbaf once they've taken the kids hostage, which I think is kind of is good for him, because he's looking into the future, like what they're planning on doing, rather than discussing the immediate danger.
Correct. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. And like I said, we kind of go into the God's Knights and everything. What I kind of was interested is she said she's listening to New World. This the translation's a little better than the TCB one, where he said like, "Oh, you have a problem with the one we already live in," because at first I thought he said like it was kind of you have an issue with the song. I thought it was like a reference to the song she was listening to. Basically, you have a problem with the song you're already listening to. The translation came out, so this kind of makes it a little bit more clear. So I thought that it was kind of an interesting section right there. I don't know if that's like a little bit of foreshadowing right there or not. What do you think? Of like maybe she might betray later on? What do you think?
I mean, it is interesting because New World is Brook's song.
Yes.
From I think he sang it when he was escaping from Sabody after the time skip. But I don't know. It is interesting that she has that connection there, but I don't know, she just seems just really cruel still, so I don't know if I would want her to switch sides or something.
It's just after Stussy it's a little bit too much, but I think it's like a little particular. At first initially I thought it was a reference to Yuta but hers is New Genesis, which is very similar though.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was interesting, just drawing that connection between them. But and then we kind of get into the soul section with the kids too, the shield,
didn't work. So
yeah, I did
kind of
I did
going
like the
terrible. Yeah.
I did like this little section where he's trying to figure out different ways to stop them from going into the fire.
Right, and I think that was cool, and I still like the art a lot with a lot of these creatures, like with the Fenrir and everything. So I think it's pretty cool, and we see like how much the Giants are still struggling against this thing, and I think you're right with just the scaling we previously discussed. Like, look how small the Giants look in comparison to the Draugr and everything, you know. So obviously they're pretty massive, and yeah. So we see the Nidhogger and the Ghost right here too. So they're doing their damage, and then obviously we have Doria Bragi showing up, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if this attack actually keeps them down, or if there's like a capacity for them to regenerate.
Yeah, because we do see that it looks like the other Giants took down the Draugr. But yeah, we haven't seen them like regenerate or anything. But that is something. But what do you think about the very end? It's like, oh yeah, and Scopper's here too.
A little random, but
yeah,
makes sense because his kid and wife could be in danger, you know.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, he made like a whole point of like going back to like staying away from the Straw Hats and everything, and there's no like, there's not even a panel establishing him on the ship. It's just like, oh, and he's here too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I thought that part was weird, but I think it makes sense that he's going back for his kid and wife, though. I think that makes sense for him to pop back in. I don't know if this is going to be another tease, though, because we kind of had a little bit of a tease with the Loki fight and all that, and with Scopper, so I feel like we're going to cut away. We're not going to stick with this, if I had to guess, because this has kind of been the pattern so far of Elgath. It's just kind of cliffhanger move.
A series of anti-climaxes.
So far,
yeah.
For this, so I don't think we're gonna continue with this section right here.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be interesting because I think we skipped over it before, but earlier on, the reason, Jarl told the Straw Hats that, oh no, you're our visitors, you're our guests, you stay here, we'll take care of this, and the Straw Hats are like, oh, they'll take care of the big monsters, and we can look for the people our size. It'll be easier for us. So I think that the Straw Hats are going to be the ones dealing directly with the God's Knights, and the Giants are going to be dealing with all the children's nightmares stuff.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a good shot of that happening. And I think if I had to guess, one of the Straw Hats is going to have to figure out an idea on how to free the kids without defeating the God's Knights, because like they're making a point right now that they're still trying to free the children without taking out the God's Knights to accomplish that. So it's going to probably be a puzzle for one of the crew members.
Yeah, I mean, Saul's using his rope thing seems to be working fine.
Yeah, so I mean, but they're going to have this. Yeah, they're going to have to snap them off too without the pain for the shields and all the rest. But I thought it was a good chapter. I think it covered a lot of good ground, some lore piece, some action, and it continues. I think probably in the next couple of chapters, the God's Knights are going to be will be taken down pretty easily. I feel like I have a strong feeling they're going to be hype tools, unless they fight like the weaker members of the Straw Hat.
Yeah, I feel that I want Robin and Brooke to have good fights. But, well, I think a lot of them are. So there are the 3 God's Knights right now, and there's 7 Straw Hats that are in the vicinity because the monster trio's down with Loki. So.
And Frankie's not
that
close by.
Oh, so yeah, they could do teams of 2 for each God's Knight. Yeah,
which I think could be like a Jinbei Nami, and then Brooke Usopp and Robin Chopper.
Yeah,
I would like those combos. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the team up Jinbei with one of the weaker members.
Yeah, because we haven't really had too much in the way of team up fights. I know there was kind of like the page one for Sea Crab, but I think this could be more interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really consider that like a straight up fight.
Yeah. Because Big Mom came in and just destroyed them.
Yeah,
it did all the work for them. So, yeah, but overall, like I said, good chapter. We're moving in the right direction, liking it. Any thoughts? Any more indie thoughts?
No break next week, so we'll
Let's go.
be getting that chapter review out. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Leave your comments below on our review, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.